Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I've got two replays for you in the Tier 9 Tech Tree Tank Destroyer, the Foch. So we're going to be on the first map here on Kaunas, and just before we get into the video, just show the equipment and perks I run on this tank. So I've got vents, camo net and advanced gun lane drive on this tank, and on the perks I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Camouflage Expertise, Steady Aim, Silent Driving, Muffled Shot, Situational Awareness and Green Thumb. So, yes, the Foch, one of my more favourite Tier 9 tank destroyers. In fact, I'd probably say it's probably my favourite tank destroyer in the line. And yeah, reasons being is it's got this 4-shot auto-loader clip potential of 1600 damage you can do per clip. So 400 per shot. So yeah, it's really quite nice at tier 9. And when you are sort of top tier, you can catch quite a few players out. Tier 8s, you can pretty much just obliterate them in one clip. Even some tier 9s you can. So you've got 325mm penetration on your premium rounds, which is what I predominantly run. I think it's just under 300 with your standards, so not bad penetration there. Got good shell velocity, which I think over 1300 on your premium rounds again. Really nice shell velocity to have. You got 0.35 accuracy, which is okay. 1.27 accuracy on turret rotation, which is really good. Obviously, this is a turretless tank destroyer, but again, sort of on rotation, the accuracy stays pretty good. 380 meters of view range, which isn't too bad. 15% fire chance, and you've got good power to weight ratio, so the mobility is quite good on this. It's got top forward speed of 50 kilometers an hour, so this thing does move. So if you're in a bit of a tight spot, you can get out of there relatively well and just relocate. The bad points on it, average concealment, it's not ideal. I think it was sort of like 347 still, a bit higher when you're sort of on the move. So obviously that's why I run sort of camo net and camo perks, try and bring that down as much as possible. It's not got the best of armor. You can bounce a few. It's got a bit of a it's a weird one. The frontal armor you can bounce on. The side and the rear is weak as hell. You will get penned, but there is that bar on top of the turret there. That is a weak spot. That's a very well known weak spot. So if you're ever coming up against these frontally, just aim for that bar and you're going to penetrate all day long. So yeah, you can bounce a few shots if they hit. If they don't really know where to aim and they hit the front of you, hit the angles. You can bounce a few, but don't rely on the armor at all because it just won't hold up whatsoever. You've got a 34-second reload as standard, sort of on your base reload. Obviously, I've got this down running food and rapid reload and what have you. So we've got it down a little bit. Obviously, the vents helps as well. It's 2.5 second aim time, which is okay, I guess, not too bad. And a 2.4 second intra clip, which again is okay. It's not that bad. It's not too long so that it's like noticeable. And you have got 6 degrees of gun depression, which it's not great. It's not the best. So, but are you really going to be playing ridge lines with a tank destroyer? No, not really. You're going to be sort of doing what I'm doing, playing that sort of kind of a little bit traditional tank destroyer role, but you can be a little bit more of like a second support, I guess, because you've got the good mobility to sort of get out of a tight spot. I guess what I'm trying to say is you can play traditional type, as in if you were like playing the waffle, you would sort of play that traditional sit back, snipe, camp sort of play style. However, you do have the option to play it like, I'm trying to think of another tier 9 tank destroyer that's mobile and nothing's coming to mind, but you can, what I'm trying to sort of prove here is, you can move forwards if you need to, get into a spot where you can start sniping. But you see I've sort of changed my mind here and I'm pulling back. So the good thing about the Foch, I think, it's one of its strong points is the mobility. It's being able to sort of be flexible in your location, your relocation into better spots if needs be. So The first map we're on Kaunas here. We're platooned up with Kingpin and Mass. Unfortunately, Kingpin went out early doors. Just, I don't know. Unfortunately, Kingpin always winds up on the replay, so he goes out early. I don't intentionally do it. I do tell him that. But yeah, me and Massa, but we're sort of left. It's a bit of a tight game. Now, we've got 1 kill and over 1,000 damage. So it's not been a bad start to the game. But, the scoreline is pretty tight, and we just sort of need to be a little bit conservative here. Trying to get some shots into the Malshan. Try and see if maybe we can get out a Cupola, but Mass manages to finish off that Malshan there. Still sort of keeping the scoreline fairly even. And that's kind of been the order of the day for this game. It's just been very even, been quite close. And yeah, so I'm going to push up now because, Mass is, Mass playing the waffle is obviously not got any armour at all. And now our team has just completely decided to flump it, and we're down to a 4 versus 7. Essentially, you could say it's a 2v7 because artillery, well, I mean, artillery is useful, but, they're very hit and miss, 50-50. Luck of the RNG with artillery, to be honest. The shots may pen, may not. So it's down to me and Mass to try and pull this back a little bit to help the team try and get the win, and that's exactly what we've done. I'm playing the spotter here, and Mass is just managing to get shots in. We do get a shot into that Borsig. That Borsig, I think, fluffs his shot, so that's good news for us because we're still full hit points. We've got 1 shot in the clip. The Borsig is down to a 1 shot, and we can potentially take him out, but Mass finishes him off for us, picking up his kill. I think he needed it for a challenge, so we let him completely, we were happy to oblige for that. And that's what platoon and teamwork is all about, is letting your mates get the kills if they need it for a challenge. So that's what we've done for Mass there, and also it helps us keep our hit points where we can use them hopefully in a better trade, and we're going to need it because we're now in a 2v6 here and it's not looking great. Things are quite tight. So me and Mass need to kind of get a wriggle on how we're going to sort of get ourselves out of this bind, because if we stay here we're going to pretty much be cannon fodder before too long. So I've kind of got the issue of these tank destroyers, but luckily Mass manages to take out that SVAC. I'm going to make a move now. I might take a shot here, I'm not sure, because there was a Stritz I think that was over in the middle here. Luckily the only shot we take from is the artillery, but unfortunately for him, he's just gave away his position. We know exactly where he is. There we go, we know he's fired. Line up the shot, and this is where we're just going to unleash the lovely clip potential that we have in the Foch here. Mass gets a shot in, and we happily finish off that artillery there for our 2nd kill. So yeah, so we've taken out one little piggy there, which is good. Hopefully we can take out the other, because then that makes life a lot easier, because we're not having to worry about artillery whilst we're trying to sort of line up shots on the enemy tank destroyers and heavy tank that is left to take out. So my initial play was to pop up on the hill there and try and get some vision over in the middle, sort of get us a bit of information. I know the Stritz farm was around here, so I've got a funny feeling that he may still be here, and we do get lit there, and there we go. See, the Stritz has popped up. Mass is moving into a position where hopefully he can get a shot onto that Stritz farm. I'm trying to get in a position where hopefully I can get a shot too. Unfortunately we lose a spot on him, and I'm just pulling back just in case artillery decides to fire at this location. But now we've just noticed an object 257 that is coming around our right flank. Mass, I don't think, is in a position where he can get a shot off onto it, so I've got to try and line up a shot, but I'm taking my time here because I don't want to fluff up the shot. And there we go, just a bit of patience, line up the shot, and the Scorpions just tried having a shot on the move, but it didn't work out, and unfortunately for him, he was a 1 shot, and we're quite happy to take that. So we're up to 4 kills now with just under 3.5k damage of 1200 assists. It's 2v2. We've managed to pull this back to even numbers. I've got plenty of hit points. Mass's I think a 1 or 2 shot, so needs to be a bit careful. Yeah, he's probably a 2 shot, I'd say. 1 shot for artillery if artillery pens, definitely. So he needs to be careful, but that's fine. I've got the hit points, so I can play the spotter. We know there's a Stritzvarn left, and we know there's artillery left, and we know where the Stritzvarn is, so 1 out of 2 location isn't bad. I was poking sort of the ridge there to try and see if he was still in the same position or if we could light him up potentially, just to try and give us a bit of information on where he is. Now Mass is moving around, you can see sort of behind me. I've said to Mass that I'm going to sort of move into the middle now and try and see if I can sneak up on the Stritz, at least get the spot so that Mass can take him out. And you see I'm gingerly just sort of coming around the corner here, because if the Stritz was where he was, then I didn't want to sort of give him the opportunity to give him our side. Equally, if we got spotted, we could just pull back around the corner and play it safe. So I think that was going to be my play to move in the middle, but I'm being quite cautious here because, like I say, I don't want to get caught up by the Stritz. The Stritz can outspot me. He's got much better camo than what I have, so I need to take that into consideration. And this is, the safest play is to go the long way around and sort of take the scenic route so that we don't get spotted whilst we're moving. Mass has moved up to towards E7. He's gone to a position where he's ready to put shots into the middle. I think he may well have been spotted. I'm not sure if he's spotted or not, or I think that might be advice. So again, I'm moving around to the 1 line to try and see if I can spot up the Stritz. In fact, I may well be actually going for artillery at this point to try and get rid of artillery, so that if we spot the Stritz, artillery doesn't have have shots on us while we're trying to take out the Stritz. I think that might have been the call from Mass there. So Mass has probably called it to go and take out artillery, get rid of him, so we don't have to worry about arty whilst we're trying to get closing in on the Stritz and taking the Stritz out. Because equally, on the enemy team, that could be their play. But the Stritz has been lit, so Mass is contending with the Stritz there. And I've said to Mass, so don't do anything stupid. Let me come over. I can get some shots into them, because my assumption is the Stritz is going to be facing Mass. They've obviously spotted each other. Stritz knows where Mass is, so Stritz is going to be facing Mass, expecting Mass to possibly come round. So there's a bit of a stalemate here, but I'm on my way. I'm hoping I can get behind the Stritz, put some shots in and finish him off, and then we can deal with the artillery. And that's exactly what happens there. We get the shot in, Mass has come round, but I said to him, don't worry, I've got the kill. Artillery goes to me and puts a massive shot in, leaving me on 435 hit points. So having those hit points left at the end really did pay dividends there. Pretty annoyed that I did get hit for big damage, but it's artillery, isn't it? 50% luck, and his 50% luck paid off for him, so fair enough. But we're going to go and exact revenge, because that's what I love to do with artillery. So we're going to pay back in kind with a nice full clip. He gets lit up at the back there, we squeeze a shot in, but then he just gets into cover. So we're just going to make our way over, close the distance as quickly as possible, and this is what we're talking about here. The good mobility of the Foch means that we can get over there very, very quickly. It's got good power to weight ratio as well, so that means we get to that top speed quite quickly. Mass has managed to get in a position, I have no idea how, has managed to get into a position where he's managed to get a shot onto that artillery. So again, sort of doing a little bit of the work for us, which is good. So hopefully we can just go around, we can put a shot in. We can, he's a 1 shot, line up the shot, and there we go, finish him off for our top gun. And bringing an end to replay number 1, and a very good game, I might add. That was some good platoon work there by me and Mass. We managed to turn that around, and credit to Mass, he does come top of the board with 4 kills with just under 5.5k damage, and I come in 2nd place there. And a big shout out actually to the Dinos players on the Scorpion on the enemy team. He done a good job for his team, but luckily for us, we managed to pull it back. So we got 4.8k damage with just under 1300 assists, picking up the top gun as well. And rounding off the first replay. So we're going to move into the second replay now, where we are bottom tier, and we are on Erlenberg, one of my favourite maps. Usually do fairly well on Erlenberg, to be fair. So sort of looking forward to this. It's a good tank destroyer map. Some good vantage points where you can just sort of get shots off at various different positions, and we're going to make our way to the castle here, because naturally the first port of call is to go to the castle and sort of look at the cross and the K line. That's what I usually like to do. Some people do like to go over to A0, which it's a good position to play, but with just having 6 degrees of gun under pressure, I'm probably having to sort of stretch and sort of overpeak quite a lot. So we've opted to come here. We do get a shot into that object 705, and I think we've tracked him in place there, and we put him down to a one shot, and there we go, the Highlander takes him out. So you can see what I mean by the cross for me was a lot more rewarding, and that's the play I wanted to make, because I kind of figured someone was going to be silly enough to cross there. And I'm not being funny, if you're playing object 705, it's not very wise to sort of cross there. I mean, you could be like 50 TP and play a bit further back. Unfortunately, we fluffed that shot there. We didn't quite aim that properly, which was really annoying. We probably should have just dumped the reload, to be honest, because now we've got this Batchat driving around the open. That is a tank I would like to take out, because Batchat is practically the same as a light tank on maps like this. You can have real good vision, and could just be a bit of a pain in the backside. Tried sneaking a shot into the T49 that just crossed the middle there, but unfortunately the shell just wasn't quick enough to take him out. But luckily our friendly FE225 does take him out. Again, taking out that vision is very important, because that gives us sort of free reign a little bit more to move into positions that we generally wouldn't dare to play if the light tank was still alive. So and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to push over to the middle, because the right hand side there's nothing really there. You can see a heavy tank that's going down the K line. Pretty much says to me that all the enemy is camped in one place, and for me, I'm just going to come into the middle and take advantage of these players sort of camping at the back, see what shots I can get off. Just need to sort of work my way to a position where I've not got buildings covering. It's a bit difficult actually. That's the only problem with playing this middle section, is the buildings pretty much cover a lot of the hills, so it's very hard to get shots off. Scores are even. Now we've got into a position here where we could get some shots into the rear of the Chieftain. Just waiting for him to back up. Unfortunately, he just jukes us there, but now he gives us his side. Gives us it again, and can we get the third shot in? We can. Luckily we managed to get 2 shots out of 4 without getting detected. Unfortunately we do get hit there, but we just managed to sort of sneak into behind this house whilst we were getting our reload off. So I'm happy to take that trade. The thing with a Foch is because you got a 4 shot, again sort of planning the trade effectively can work in your favour. Try getting a shot into that VZ there and just absolutely scuffed it. Was hoping to get another shot, and we actually did, and he backs up enough for us to get a shot in, and we didn't take him out, but we did manage to get a nice shot there, putting him onto a one shot. Bounced a shot off the hill there. That's what I was talking about with the trolley armour on the front there. Someone shoots the angle part, you can be lucky and bounce it, but let's say don't rely on it too much. So we're just paying attention to that waffle, just in case he decides to do something silly and poke up. We can be ready to get some shots in, but it doesn't look like it's happening. We can see another tank destroyer up there. Can we possibly get a shot in? No, unfortunately it's the Strits and just gets... oh, there we go. Well, we tried getting a shot in, but unfortunately we didn't pen it, but yeah. So we're just going to move back into cover, because we're getting targeted there. Now you see the scores are even still. It's still 8-all, and our team are in a little bit of a sort of stalemate here, because majority of our team are now sitting in the middle. There is a heavy tank over to the right, We can see the chieftain there, but we don't really have a clear enough shot. He is a one shot to us, but wasn't really clear enough for us to take it. I don't want to take the shot and then get spotted. I would rather sort of take shots here knowing that I had a guaranteed shot, because if I get lit and I don't hit, then chances are I'm going to take a shot in return. It's just not going to be a good trade. So what I've done is I've dumped the reload. I'm moving back, and I think I'm going to try and see if I can get into a better position, because where I am, just there wasn't really anything happening. I think what I'm going to do now is I can see a lot of the team are in J9, and I thought originally I was going to sort of go to the right, but now I'm sort of moving over to the left. I think the right may well have been the better play, but I may still change my mind yet. But and yeah, I think that's exactly what's going on here. It's been a while since I played this game, so I can't exactly remember what happened. But yeah, I had a sort of feeling that I was going to move over to the right, because I think at the time I was remembering I was sort of looking at where they were in H9 and just thinking, well, that kind of says to me that there's some tanks that are sort of isolated in that middle section, and that one-shot chieftain being one of them. So if I can get a shot into that chieftain and take him out, that then leaves the full health Russian heavy that's over there as well. Perhaps I can get some shots into him, and maybe if my FE comes over, I've got a bit of cover as well. But that FE does actually take out that chieftain, so effectively he's done a bit of the hard work for me. Now it's still 6 versus 6 at the moment, so a very even game. Our team are being a little bit passive, but understandable given that it's Erlenberg. It's a very big open map, and most players aren't going to be willing to take a risk unless they know it's completely worth the risk. So and I'm sort of pretty much doing that. I've decided that the risk was worth taking. I'm a little bit isolated here, so if I do get pushed, I could be in trouble, but I'm kind of banking on my FE being over here, and also me sort of getting my clip off. I could probably get a reload off before these tanks came over there, because they're 705A and an E100, they're not exactly quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to poke up here. I'm just going to sort of see what's going on with these tanks, see if there's an opportunity. Now I do get lit, I'm having to over poke. I'm going for the E100 first because I know I can take out that E100. Now I'm going to focus on the Object 705, who is still distracted, which is great. I get a full clip into these guys, I take out the E100, just got the Object 705A left, and I'm basically on reload. I'm trying to see if my FE will sort of come over, just just have a little bit of assurance that I've got backup, that I've got a bit of cover, but he's not making his way here. However, I'm nearly off reload, so do you know what, I can take out this Object 705A if I manage to pen all my shots. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to poke up when I'm ready, and I want to poke up and get lit. But unfortunately, 705A has gone unspotted, so maybe I was just faffing a bit too much. Looks like the AMX has managed to light him up. Unfortunately, we fluffed the first shot there, and he's kind of in a little bit of hold down position, but we managed to get a shot through his side, setting him on fire. The second shot, we bounce. Now we're just going to line up the shot to get the kill, confirm it, and there we go. Picking up our second kill of the game. We're up to 5.8k damage, to 1700 assists. It's now a 5v3. We've kind of pulled the game back into our favour. Artillery is looking to hit us, but luckily for us, he completely flies over us into into no man's land. So it's good for us. I'm asking our AMX to push up and get us a target so I can get some shots off. I'm fully reloaded now, so it'd be great to see that artillery, because then I can just unload a full clip into the artillery, hopefully taking them out. But the AMX hasn't really spotted anything at the moment, so again, just using the good mobility, I'm going to just keep pushing right up until sort of such time the light tank manages. And I think the light tank's actually holding off until I possibly get there, and then you might well start getting some assistance, start actually spotting up tanks. So I told him I'm here, I'm ready to fire, and there we go, spotted some tanks, but unfortunately just not quite in a position where we can get the shots off. But we're going for it. We're trying to see if we could get some shots in. Unfortunately, we've taken a massive hit there. We kind of really screwed up and put ourselves into a really bad position where we just got right into a crossfire. Took one off the Strits and then took one off that heavy tank as well. I was going to poke and try and get the shot in, but Strits looking our way, I just thought it's not really worth it. Our light tank gets taken out. Now we're actually in a bit of a difficult position, but the FE manages to take out the IS-4. We've got 3 shots in the clip, and yeah, I probably could have played this better, to be honest. But never mind, it's what it is. But the enemy, our friendly team do manage to finish the remaining tanks off, and there we go. We pick up the win, and we get 5.8k damage with 2 kills. We pick up just under 2.5k assists, which is quite good. Picking up the ace tanker, and yeah, finishing off the video of the Foch. So there we go. That is the Foch in a nutshell, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe, because it does help the channel. And yeah, drop a comment below as well if you got the Foch, or if you're intending to grind up to the Foch. Let me know. And yeah, as always, guys, I will catch you next time.
Uh-oh.